As you probably already know, there's tons of information on topics about business credit, credit repair, business credit cards, funding, all that stuff. But there's even more misinformation about all these topics. In this session, I'm going to pull back the curtain even further and share some insider secrets banks and other institutions don't want you piecing together. If you haven't seen the first two videos in this class, you'll want to go back and watch them. And I say that because none of this is going to work if you haven't already put together the proper steps I talk about in those first two videos. I'm going to assume if you've made it this far into the class, then you've already watched the previous videos, so let's get started. Ideal LLC criteria for applying for business credit right now is a 2-year-old LLC or greater, classified as low risk, generic LLC names, right? Nothing specific, revenue, or estimated revenue, and banking relationships. If you have all this right now, you're in a position to move very quickly. If you're not, don't worry, most people aren't. That's why you're here. Okay, the first thing we want to do is set up a low-risk LLC. Notice I didn't say set up an LLC. There's a big difference between regular LLC setup and a low-risk LLC setup. So if you're going to LegalZoom, answering a few questions, popping out a brand new LLC won't cut it if you want the highest credit limit approvals you can get right out of the gate, okay? So what's a low-risk LLC? It's basically when your LLC is classified under a low-risk industry when the banks look this up. Even if you're currently considered under high-risk industry, just stay with me for a minute. I'll explain everything, and here's how we do this, okay? You're gonna start by opening 2 LLCs in your current state. There's no need to do privacy states like Nevada, Delaware, Wyoming yet, because banks don't like to see several layers of companies where they have trouble identifying the owners of the company, okay? So do this, and it usually lead to straight denials initially, okay? There are 2 specific parts of an LLC that banks pay close attention to. Number 1's the name. Number 2 is what they call an NAICS code. We'll get to the NAICS code later, but the name of your LLC is crucial. For example, real estate's considered a high-risk industry. If you have any words like property, construction, homes, flip, things like that in your LLC name in itself, this won't help your cause. Okay, always open LLCs with generic names like ABC Ventures, ABC Global Ventures, ABC Ventures Unlimited, and never use your own personal name in the title. Okay, plenty more, but you get the idea. The more generic the name, the better position you put yourself in for higher credit approvals. Make sense? Okay, next is your NAICS code. This is the code the bank will see in their computer to classify your business. And this code will always solely determine your credit limits going forward. It's the most important factor. Okay, that's why I usually stick with consulting of some type. It's the least riskiest industry in the bank's eyes. I'm gonna give you the exact codes in just a minute. So to set up your new low-risk LLC, just go to your Secretary of State where you live, or you truly press for time, you can go to the sites like LegalZoom or InkFile, but a fair warning, if you choose to use a done-for-you website, make sure the industry you select is a low-risk industry. Whether you do it yourself or you have somebody else do it for you, the question always comes up, what industry are you in? In one form or another, this will happen. This is where you'll type in consulting or e-commerce. Why? There are 2 of the lowest risk industries and banks love them. I generally stick with consulting services because they're the most flexible, but if you have an actual e-commerce store, you'll want to go with that. There are several types of consulting services. You could be looking at consulting, general consulting, marketing consulting, management consulting, selecting any of them's fine. And next, banks look at the NAICS code of the company. The 2 NAICS codes you'll want to focus on are consulting 541611 and e-commerce 454111. And here's why this is so awesome. Even if you're currently at a high-risk industry, you create brand new low-risk LLCs in the consulting industry and always loan that money to your other companies. Now you see how all this can play out, right? This is super powerful going forward. And check this out. For each LLC you create, you'll be able to get about $150,000 or more over time. It's insane, right? Banks do not want you to figure this out. Okay, so what's next? Now, we have to set up a business identity in the world, but don't worry. No need for a brick and mortar office lease or an expensive office build out or even buying a building. Nope, none of that. The only steps you need are a business domain name, a one-page website that can literally say it's under construction, a business phone number, which Google Voice is fine, a business virtual address, which is just access to a local company that you can use, and a business email at your business website address. Your all-in grand total about this investment is about $100. So now that we've done all that, it's time to create a plan that gets us to the finish line quickly. So what banks do we apply to? What order do we apply? How do we properly establish relationships with these banks? All of this will play a role into getting the highest credit lines possible. For the bank to set up a new business checking account, you'll need all of your LLC documents for creating your LLC, your EIN document from the IRS, an LLC operating agreement, which basically just shows that you are proof of majority ownership in your company that you just set up. So don't walk into a bank without these. Digital copies won't count. Print them off and put them in a folder, keep them organized, and walk in the bank. There are thousands of banks, but you always want to go after the big ones first due to their application rules. So first, I'd start with Chase. If you don't have Chase, open one up online. Chase requires you to season your funds in a new bank account for about 3 to 4 weeks before you actually apply for any business card products. Okay, this will go a long way to high credit limit approvals right out the gate. Deposit a minimum of $2,000 into the bank. At least $5,000 is preferred, but whatever you can put in there for now will help. Just a minimum of $2,000 will actually really help you right out the gate, to get these higher lines. Now, once the 2 to 4 week period has passed, reach out to the relationship manager if possible. If you're working with me at this point, you can use mine. If not, a bank manager is the second best method. So just walk into the bank and apply. Do not apply it online. Okay, this will ensure you get the best results. Business revenue. Your business application is going to be based on your stated income. And that's right, no tax returns, no documents, like nothing. With that said, if your business has actual revenue and it's high, then you should put that. If your business is brand new, here's a little insider tip to help you with this. When an application asks you for your annual business income and your annual personal income, what it's really asking is what do you expect to make by the end of the year? I always like to be optimistic here because I truly believe I'm gonna be successful. So here's what that looks like for a brand new LLC. The annual business income, I'd probably say $475,000. Your annual personal income, I'd probably stick somewhere around $170,000. So why these numbers? Well, I truly believe that at the end of the year, those numbers are realistic. So if you make more, put more. Just know, if your numbers get too high and unbelievable and you can't actually back them up with sales, then they may ask you for proof. So stick to the numbers I gave you if you're not sure. From there, all your new business info goes into the rest of your application and boom, you're done. Even though sometimes we moved at lightning speed, I've only scratched the surface of what's possible. So what's next? I don't think it's a secret. I'm pretty sure you know that this is leading up to the release of our LaunchGrid private coaching program. And that's one of the reasons I made these free videos for you. It was sort of like an audition. And after you watch them, I wanted you to be able to say, dude, this dude walks the walk. So seriously, how'd I do? Well, here's the thing. I want to be clear. I'm blown away, flattered, and slightly embarrassed at how excited people are about this program. Some of them must be reading the tea leaves and saw it coming as far back as video 1. So many people want to buy it before they even know what it is or the investment or even if it's right for them, which means I'm going to be totally transparent with you that it might get a little weird. So in this next video, I'm going to do the unthinkable. I'm going to spend a chunk of time telling you why the LaunchGrid private coaching program is not right for you. Yes, I do plan on teaching everything I know about maximizing your financial profile and getting you all the money you want when you need it. Like, this is really a premium level education with a high level and quantity of information. The next video will help you decide. And even though it might seem like I'm sort of rooting against success, I'm really not. I just want the right people for the limited amount of openings that I've got in this membership. I'm putting extra effort into the last video to make sure you have everything you need to decide if working together is the right fit for you. We'll talk soon.